If you've ever found yourself saying, it just feels like all the things, I want to slow this moment down with you for a few minutes. Because that phrase usually doesn't mean what we've been taught that it means. Most people interpret all the things as overwhelm, as an overwhelm as failure. And it's proof that something has gone wrong or that you should be handling life better by now. But what I want to offer you instead is this: all the things is not failure, it's information. Now, empathetic women don't experience life in neat, linear categories. They tend to receive information simultaneously: emotions, responsibilities, intuition, sensory input, meaning, and possibility. When several of those streams are activated at once and there's no map yet, everything can feel like it collapses into one swirl. That swirl isn't chaos, it's unorganized data. And the mistake we make is treating that moment as something to eliminate rather than something to understand. Here's where things often go sideways. When someone says they're overwhelmed, they're usually told to simplify, narrow their focus, pick one thing, or push through. But simplifying too early can actually make the overwhelm worse, especially for empathetic systems. Because before you can reduce anything, you need to know what's actually there, what belongs together, and what's asking for attention versus what's noise. Without that orientation, simplification can feel like betrayal. When everything feels like all the things, the instinct is to ask, how do I fix this? What's wrong with me? But those questions assume that something is broken. A more useful question is quieter. What is trying to come into focus here? Orientation doesn't demand answers. It creates context. And context is what turns overwhelm into clarity over time, without force. I've noticed this pattern in my own life during moments when nothing was technically wrong, but things felt harder than they should. Not because I was failing, but because something had changed and I hadn't updated the map yet. Once I slowed down enough to notice what had shifted, the pressure eased, even before anything external changed. That's the power of orientation. It restores a sense of agency without demanding action. This is where the idea of glow becomes useful. Glow isn't about mood or positivity. It's about energy literacy. Different energy states experience all the things differently. Sometimes overwhelm is a signal for rest, sometimes for clarity, sometimes for boundaries, sometimes for expression. When you don't know what kind of energy you're in, every response defaults to pushing. When you do, overwhelm starts to organize itself. If everything feels like all the things right now, nothing has gone wrong. You're likely in an early moment of sense making, before clarity, before decisions, before action. You don't need to resolve it today. You don't need to reduce it yet. And you definitely don't need to judge yourself for it. Overwhelm is not a verdict, it's a signal. And signals soften once they're understood. If this perspective is helpful, you're welcome to stay with the conversation here. And if you're curious about learning how to orient to your own energy, how to understand what your version of all the things is asking for, I share more about this through my glow work. No rush, just let clarity arrive in its own timing. If you want to stay connected, you're welcome to subscribe. And if learning about your glow feels supportive, You can explore it when it feels right.